Okay, today we're going to talk about the differences between a 280 pull sweep, a Polaris 280, and a Polaris 380. Okay, so you see here I have deconstructed two pull sweeps. Okay, I'm just going to show you the internal components of each of them, and they're controlled by different mechanisms. Okay, so we're going to look closely at those, and that way you can see kind of the inner workings of a pull sweep, and it will hopefully be able to translate to out in the field what you'll be looking for as far as repairs go or problems go. Okay, so we'll first go over the 280 and then you'll see the difference in the 380.
So this is the inside of a Polaris 280. Okay, so this is a black 280. And we're going to go over a couple parts that are usually the most typical repairs that are necessary when you bring in the pull sweep. Okay, so one to look out for is the wheel axle. These get brittle and they'll crack and they'll break off, so this piece will stay in the pull sweep and then this piece will break off. Another one is the wheel screw. So this is your wheel screw. Those will wear down, get brittle, and then the head will pop off and then the wheel will fall off. Okay. These pieces right here, so typically you won't see that unless these sweep or internal management clamps, water management clamps, you'll probably won't notice those unless you open it up. This is your small wheel, and then you've got your other wheels. I have replaced all three of these tires, so that's also something you want to look for. Make sure that these don't wear down too much. Okay, so you can see kind of the side of it. The piece right here that goes right here is the head float. Okay, so I've got it somewhere around here. So head float right here. Okay, and then we've got our sweep hose attach clamp right here, and then the tail goes all the way here. This tail scrub is okay, but it's going to need to be replaced soon. And then we have these black wear rings. Okay, so those are a couple things that you want to look for with a 280 and just pull sweeps in general, at least if they're made by Polaris. What I want to go over is the driving mechanism on this versus the 380, which I will show you in a second. Under this plate, there's an axle that runs from this wheel all the way to this wheel. These wheels have grooves, so you can see the grooves right here. Those grooves, the axle will bite into those grooves, and when water shoots through here on the return and then flows through these jets, it also flows into this turbine mechanism that then turns the wheel axle, thus propelling the pull sweep forward. So this is axle driven. Okay, so there's an axle that drives all the way from here to that end. Okay, so that you'll notice the difference in just a second with the 380, but this is the internal assembly of a Polaris 280. Okay, so I have a much more involved and difficult to repair Polaris 380. Now, we talked about with the 280 that it's axle driven. This one is belt driven. Okay, so you'll notice here that on the wheel with two, or the side of the pull sweep with two wheels, there are two belts that stretch across to this middle wheel that then holds them. These have grooves, and then the belt has teeth that then bite into and turn the wheels. Okay, so this side does not have a belt, but this pull sweep is belt driven. Essentially, the idea is that water will go through through one of the returns, and it will feed into this stem, this stack pipe. This is again where the head float would go, but it feeds through here. Some of the water is distributed into this little turbine, which then propels this wheel and then ultimately turns these two. Okay, because there is an axle that goes through here, but the main mechanism that drives it is the belt. Okay, so both of them have axles. This one's just primarily belt driven, and that's what guides it around the pool. So some of the water will go through here, and it will feed into this little turbine and propel it forward. And then the rest of the water will feed through the jets that are in the center of this. Yeah, you can kind of see them. So there are jets that will then push water up, and the bag is secured here, and then it will basically pull the debris up with it, create some sort of a vacuum effect, and thus pick up the debris. A lot of times these little clamps, these are very difficult to replace, but you'll see there are 6 different water management clamps in this system, and so that's something to look out for. Those go brittle and they'll break, and really the only way to fix them is to open it up, the only way to identify it is if you open it up and you can see which ones are in need of repair. So this is the difference between a 380 and a 280. Again, this is belt driven, the other one is driven by an axle. Okay, but both of them have water that feeds through the system, and that's ultimately what propels the pool sweep to move around the pool. Okay, so today we have covered, and you have seen the two differences between the two different, the main primary models that Polaris puts out on the market. We'll hopefully have some other videos that go over their other pool sweeps. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this, and let's put it into practice so that we can grow our knowledge of pool sweeps and how to repair and ultimately satisfy the customer the best we can.